Okay, let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive into two themes that seem to run through everything. Humble prayer and direct divine authority.
Right.
And we're trying to connect the dots, from these ancient stories all the way to the New Testament to figure out what they mean for you, practically.
And we are tracking a very specific path. We start with Hannah's utter desperation.
hmm
Then we move through her son, Samuel, and his calling. And we land on the really shocking authority of Jesus.
So that journey starts from a place of real personal pain. Hannah's prayer is just poured out from this place of desperation because she can't have a child.
It's everything to her in that moment. And this isn't some casual wish. This is her entire world.
And the prayer is answered. God gives her Samuel, who becomes this incredible prophet. But that's where things get really interesting.
They do, because the answer to the prayer almost immediately seems to transform her whole perspective. It's quite a pivot.
Wait, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Her prayer was so intensely personal, right? I want a baby. But then her song of praise, it isn't about that at all.
Not really. She moves from this very personal plea to celebrating God's sense of justice.
She praises God for what?
For lifting up the poor, for feeding the hungry, for helping the weak. Her focus just explodes outward. It goes from me to us.
The act of praying itself actually changed her. It wasn't just about getting the answer.
Exactly. The goal of the prayer, it seems, was also the change in her own heart.
That's fascinating. Okay, so we go from Hannah's speaking her prayer to the listening part,
Right.
which comes through her son, Samuel. The text makes a really big deal out of the fact that God calls him specifically by name.
It's so direct, so personal. That's a kind of authority we don't always think about. It's intimate.
And that idea of direct divine authority,
Hmm.
well, it just gets dialed up to 11 in the New Testament with Jesus.
Oh, absolutely. The Gospels say he taught with amazing power, which is one thing, but then he shows it.
How so?
He doesn't just talk about God's kingdom. He actually commands demons to leave people. I mean, that is authority made completely visible, undeniable.
So help me connect those two things. Samuel getting this quiet personal call by name, and Jesus having this huge public authority.
Well, it's the same principle, just on a different scale. Just as God called Samuel so specifically, the text tells us Jesus calls us to follow him.
With that same authority.
That same authority and that same love. It's not a vague suggestion. It's a clear, powerful invitation.
Okay, so this brings up the big question for anyone listening.
Mhm.
What do we do with this pattern? We can't just admire it.
No, you can't. And our reading lays out two essential actions. We have to pray humbly, like Hannah, pouring out our hearts.
Yeah.
And we have to listen actively, like Samuel, ready to hear that specific call when it comes.
And that listening part, that feels like the real challenge today, doesn't it, in all this noise?
It's incredibly hard. We're great at speaking, at asking, but creating the silence to actually hear, that's different.
So it's about balance. The
Yeah.
humble petition and the receptive quiet.
That's the formula. And the source assures us that when you combine those two things, God can do incredible things through you.
So to recap, we've traced this path from desperation, which leads to prophecy, and from divine authority, which leads to a personal call to each of us.
Yes, and that leads to one last thought to maybe leave you with.
I'm worried.
If Hannah's intensely personal prayer for herself turned into this powerful song about God's justice for the poor, and Jesus' call has this life-changing, undeniable authority, what great things could result when you combine your own most humble, honest petitions with a real willingness to actively listen for your own specific calling.
What happens when you stop just talking and actually start to listen?
Exactly. What then?